Hi guys and welcome back. I love making reversible projects. I have so many on my channel, but I wanted to do something which is absolutely beginner friendly and works up in no time. Today we're going to be making a cute mood cloud. One side is a happy side and the other side is a sad side. Before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to get notified every time I post a video. If you try out any of my projects, please send me pictures either by email or on Instagram. The links are in the description below. So let's get started. So here are all the supplies you're going to need for this project. I'm going to be using blanket yarn for the main part of my project. So as you can see, this is super chunky yarn. I just like the feel of the almost pillowy texture. You're going to need the yarn in two colors, a gray or a dark blue and white. We're going to have our happy cloud in white and then our sad cloud in gray. You're also going to need some thinner yarn. I'm using sport weight yarn in a few different colors. I have some blue and also some black just for embroidering on some details. Along with my thicker yarn, I'm going to be using a 7mm crochet hook. This yarn actually calls for 8 to 10mm, but I usually size down for amigurumi. I also have a thinner hook, which is a 3.5mm hook for my thinner yarn. You're also going to need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle. So now, even though I've done my project in blanket yarn, I'm going to show you how to make it with thinner yarn just so you can see the stitches better. I had a couple of comments on some of my previous videos saying it'll be easier to show you how to make the basic stitches with thinner yarn. So we're going to start with a slip knot, insert our crochet hook and tighten it around the hook. You'll be doing this with the blanket yarn. Now we'll be starting with a chain of 21. Yarn over, pull through to do a chain, like this. Now once you're done, you should have 21 chains like this. We're going to skip the first chain. Into the second chain from the hook, we're going to do an increase or 2 single crochets. That's 1. To do a single crochet, insert your crochet hook into the chain, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. You've done 2 in the same stitch. Now we're going to do 18 single crochets, 1 into each of the next stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So do this until you've done 18. Now once you're done with your 18 single crochets, you should have one last stitch left right here. Into that stitch we're going to do an increase again or 2 single crochets. So that's 1 single crochet into the very same stitch, 1 more, and this brings your stitch count total for this row to 22. That's 18 plus 2 for 1 increase and 2 for the first increase. That's 22 stitches. Now for the next row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work around. Into that very first stitch, the one right here, we're going to do an increase again. That's 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 20 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do this until you've done 20. Now once you're done with your 20 single crochets, you should have one last stitch. We're going to do an increase into that. That's 1 and 2, which brings your stitch count total for this row to 24 stitches. 20 single crochets, increase on one side, increase on the other side. Now for the next 2 rows, this is the pattern you're going to follow. Chain 1, turn your work around. Into each one of those 24 stitches, just place 1 single crochet. You'll have 24 for each of the rows. At the end of this row, chain 1, turn and go back and place 24 single crochets again. So just 1 single crochet into each of the stitches until the end. So now once you're done with the repeat rows, this is what it should look like. Now for the next row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work around, and we're going to do our first decrease. To do a decrease, insert your crochet hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch, insert your crochet hook into the stitch, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook now. Yarn over, pull through all 3. That's your first decrease. Now we're just going to do 20 single crochets. I'm done with my 20 single crochets and I have 2 stitches left at the end. Now we're going to do a decrease in these last 2 stitches. Insert your crochet hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. This brings your stitch count total to this row from 24 stitches to 22 stitches. Now you have 22 stitches. Now for the next row, chain 1, turn. We're going to do a decrease again. Insert your crochet hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, into the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we're going to do 18 single crochets. Now once you're done, you should have some stitches left at the end. We're just going to ignore this. So you know, clouds have the little curves on the end. We're trying to create those curves almost like a stair-like effect. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. If you see, this row is incomplete. Into that first stitch, we're going to do an increase. Now we're going to place 16 single crochets. And now once you're done with that, we're going to leave these last 2 stitches to continue making the curve on the other side. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Into that very first stitch, we're going to do an increase again, 2 single crochets, followed by 17 single crochets. Now you should have come to the end of the row, and this is what your piece should be looking like at this point. For the next row, chain 1, turn, start with a decrease, followed by 15 single crochets, and now into the last 2 stitches we're going to do a decrease again. This brings our stitch count total for this row to 17 stitches, 15 plus a decrease and a decrease. Now for the next row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to do a decrease followed by 13 single crochets, and then into the last 2 stitches we're going to do a decrease again. This brings our stitch count total to 15 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, chain 1, turn your work around. We're going to do 1 decrease followed by another decrease. So 2 decreases into these stitches right here, followed by 8 single crochets, 3, 4, and that completes this row. We're going to leave the rest of these stitches unworked. Chain 1, turn your work around. You're going to do a decrease followed by 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, turn. Gonna do a decrease again, followed by 4 single crochets this time, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're going to chain 1, turn. You're going to do a decrease, 1 single crochet, followed by a last decrease, and that completes your little cloud. So just to show you, this is what it looks like. You're going to be doing this with blanket yarn, and you're going to be making 4 pieces identical to this. So 2 in either blue or grey, and then 2 in white. Once you're done with all of these pieces, basically what you can do is just snip your yarn off and pull it through like that. So make your 4 pieces and then meet me back here again. So now I've recreated the exactly same cloud that I showed you, but I've done it with the thicker yarn, so you can see it's much bigger. It's almost the size of a pillow. I've done 2 pieces in white and then 2 pieces in grey. I've connected the grey pieces together like this, so the bottom part is left open and the top parts are sewn together. I'm going to show you how to sew it together with the white pieces. So we're going to line up our white pieces together so that they match exactly. Now we're going to grab our crochet hook. Because I use the thicker yarn, I'm going for the 7mm hook. Go into the front and the back of the very first stitch. Take your white yarn, pull it through and chain 1. Now you're going to go through every stitch and its corresponding stitch in the front and the back and do a slip knot. So you're going to insert your crochet hook into the front, insert your crochet hook into the back, yarn over, and then you're going to just pull through. Again, go into the front, go into the back, yarn over, pull through. And you're going to do this all the way around, but you're going to leave the bottom portion open. So we're just going to continue joining the front and the back like this. This thick yarn can be pretty forgiving, so even if you mess up a couple of stitches, it's not really visible. With thinner yarn, you can see every stitch really clearly. And if you see, you will have this kind of an effect. So go around and sew this together. As I said, just remember, you're going to leave the bottom portion open, so like a little pocket, almost like a hat. You will sew the top and leave the bottom open. Now once you're done sewing the 2 sides of each of the colors together, this is what it should look like. So if you see, it's like a little pocket. Here's the grey and here's the white. Now we're going to line these up and we're going to sew it like this. So basically we want the hollow to still remain so we can do the reversible effect, but we're going to sew these 2 ends like this, so it'll turn into a structure like this, and then you can tuck this in and then reverse it out. So for the reversible effect, we need the middle to be hollow, but we're going to sew the 4 sides together. Let me show you how to do that. So you can choose to do this either in the grey or white. I'm just doing it in the grey because that's the yarn I have in hand right now. We're going to attach it to one side. Now you have to make sure you're not connecting these 2 sides together, otherwise this will get sewn shut. So just to one side, and we connect it to the corresponding side on the white piece. So if you see, the other side is empty. We've just connected the front loops of the white piece and the grey piece, and we're just going to pull the yarn through and chain 1 to secure this. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did to connect the 2 sides together, except we're going to do 1 white and 1 grey. This is a little hard to show on camera, but let me do a few stitches and I'll show you. Just the fronts together and place a slip knot. Again, connect just the fronts together and do another slip knot. Again, just the fronts together and another slip knot. So if you see, we're connecting these 2 parts together like this. You're going to go all the way around and then connect the back. So let me finish the front and then I'll show you how to continue around the back. So as you can see, I've connected one side together. Now we're going on to the other side. So all these little ends that you have, just tuck them on the inside so that they don't bother you. They'll get hidden in the middle of your little plushie. To do the other side, now we're going to hold the back piece with the grey back piece and continue doing our slip knots, slip stitches. Like this. Let me do a few more stitches and show you. So if you see, there's a hollow still left, but we're connecting these two sides together. So go ahead, go all the way around, finish connecting this whole thing together, snip your yarn off, and I'll show you what to do next. So now that I'm done sewing the two sides together, this is what it looks like. Now let's test out if it reverses nicely together. For the first time, I just finished sewing, so I haven't even tried this yet. We're just gonna tuck the gray part into the white like this. Once you do it a couple of times, it'll become easier, and you have your white cloud. And we just flip this over and you have your little gray cloud. So your basic pattern is now done. What we're going to do is add some embellishments just to make this look a little cuter. So now we're just going to make some eyes. For the happy side, I'm going to make little upward arches, and for the sad side, I'm going to make little downward arches, and then we're going to do a smile and a frown on the other side. So I'm not the best at sewing, but I'm going to show you my technique. You can go ahead and do it however you like. I'm just going to show you how to do one of the eyes. You can use the same technique for all, because all of them are just little curves. So I'm going to leave about 4 stitches in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to insert my yarn needle here. I'm leaving about 4 stitches of gap in between, and I'm just going to pull some of the yarn on the other side. I'm going to do that one more time through the same stitch to create a straight line. So like this. Now once I've made this straight line, I want this to curve up. For it to curve up, I'm just going to pull the eye upwards, and I'm going to go into, so I'm going, if you can see, I'm going in between the yarn, and I'm just going to do a stitch like this, pull this up to the point I want it to be. I want it to be somewhere over here. Again, go in between the yarn. Make sure you're not going through the front and the back of the white piece, but pull it through like this, and then go ahead onto the other side, pull the eye up a little bit and embroider it on. And you can keep shaping it as you go on, and you should get a little curve that looks like that. Go ahead, make 2 eyes and a smile, and here 2 U-shaped eyes with a frown. Now that I'm done with my embroidery, this is what it looks like. This is my happy side and this is my sad side. Just a note again, make sure you've not sewn the fronts and the back together while you're doing the embroidery. I did that a bunch of times and I had to redo what I was doing. And now we can test out to see if it still flips fine. So I'm going to tuck in my gray side, and there is my happy cloud. Flip it right over, and there's my sad cloud. Now I'm just going to show you how to make some embellishments if you want to add them. Otherwise you can just keep this just as is, and it's just really cute like this too. So now for my sad side, I'm going to be making a little water drop. I've doubled up my yarn because it's pretty thin. We're going to be starting with a slip knot. Insert your crochet hook, tighten, and now chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the first chain, we're going to make a slip stitch and turn this into a little ring. So if you see, that's the center of the ring right here. We're going to be working into that center part. Now we're going to be making 4 double crochets to start. Yarn over, insert your crochet hook into the center of the ring, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we're going to be making 2 single crochets. That's 1 single crochet followed by a second single crochet. Now we want to make the tip of the water drop, so we're going to do a treble crochet. Yarn over twice, insert your crochet hook into the loop, pull up a loop. You have 4 on the hook, yarn over, pull through only 2. Now you have 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 more. 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. That's the tip of your water drop. Now back into the ring, we're going to do 2 single crochets again. 1 single crochet and a second single crochet. Just adjust your water drop a little like this. Slip stitch into that first chain that you made, and you should have a little water drop shape that looks like this. You can make as many as you want. We're going to use these as little raindrops around this side of our sad side. Now that I attached it, this is what it looks like. It's a little teardrop. And with that, my little reversible cloud is ready. It's so cute, works up so quickly, and it's absolutely beginner friendly. If you've never done a reversible project before, this is a great project to start with. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, then please comment below and let me know what you want to see next. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.